Hello from Bugeye Guy. This is Emma the Bugeye, a really nicely modified car with a 5-speed transmission and a GPS speedo and electronic tack. These are guaranteed, and so they should be much more durable than the mechanical gizmos that came on the original. Now, if you love originality, we've tried to copy the original faces of these gauges as best we could with a modern gauge. There is this little LED display here. They're a lot of fun. I really like these gauges. They give you some things that are kind of cool to play with. Of course, once it acquires a satellite from this little antenna, you end up with a bunch of different functions. This one has a compass, and I don't know why it says the peak speed was 169. That wasn't me, I promise. But it also, you can set it here to the altitude and the compass direction, and then 0 to 60. So once you stage it, you hit the button again. When you start moving, it'll measure your 0 to 60 time and your quarter-mile time if you like. And it also has a trip meter. So that's kind of a cool gauge. This is the electronic tack. This is your ignition warning light. The key's on, the engine is not. Your high beam light is here. We have headlights, side lights are S, turn signal indicator is working there, left and right. And we have the choke. This is a fuel pump kill switch. It's anti-theft. Wipers, 1 speed. Heater blower here. You twist that. When you pull this, it closes the air door and doesn't allow you to operate the fan. That's a 1-speed fan. That's kind of a nice bonus because it does help on a cool evening. So we have that all set up, and this car has really nice body lines. The seams are good. Remember, on most of these Bugeyes, you've had lots of collective crash damage. Nothing serious usually, but fender benders over the years. So it's pretty common to have this nose line not look as good as you see here. That's actually a really good fit for a Bugeye. You also have a good line along here, and that's nice to see on a Bugeye. We don't have any rust here, which is pretty common at the bottom of the A-pillars. We have new rubber here. I think it's a new windshield. I'd have to look at the build sheet. We have these mini light wheels, which are great. Slightly wider tires, disc brakes. Lots of good features, and then the paint is quite good. There are no cracks along this beading. Many of these cars do have cracks here. There is one crack right here. This may be from someone pushing this in too hard. This material can oil can, and so we have a radial crack coming out here. It's not a rust issue. It shouldn't get any worse, but it is an imperfection. We have nice, there's a little bit of a waver here on this beading strip, but who knows if that was even done. That's probably happened in the restoration. I would guess this car was painted about 10 years ago. It's an excellent paint job. It's held up really well. We could probably buff it again, but for 90% of people, this is perfect. You're seeing it on an overcast day, but in the sun, it's really beautiful. We have these 2 mystery holes here, perhaps for a rear third brake light. Those will get covered once the tonneau goes on. Remember, the tonneau hooks here and is permanently a vinyl cover. So most of the cars will forever have a tonneau there, and you'd never see those, but they're not correct, just so you know they're there. This is also the wrong license plate support from a later Sprite. The early one had more of a slope, but a subtle detail that you may want to know about. Other little silly details. This is a loop carpet. It's not quite as nice as the plush carpet that we use, a cut pile, but it's fine and it's in good condition. It's just a slightly lower grade. This is the one that you would find on eBay. It's not as nice as the one that we make, but perfectly adequate. And the seats on this car are not perfect. Whoever restored these didn't quite get it right. They may be later foams from a later Sprite, which has more lumbar support, which is kind of nice, but it's a little bit lumpy, a little lumpy here. And we could fix that if somebody cared. They certainly look nice. You can see that the interior is nice, but it's not perfect. The other thing I notice, again, a very small detail, is that it's slightly higher in the front than in the back. So I think we'd probably want to raise the back just a little bit and level the car out. But overall, Emma is a sweetheart, and the advantage of this car is that we have spent a ton of time going through it. So if you want a car that's well sorted, that's already been through our filter, Emma has a massive number of upgrades and additions. I have the build sheet if anybody wants to see it, all the things that we did to the car. And that's Emma from Bugeye Guy.